On this particular video, I want to kind of touch on a little bit of a subject I've been gathering my thoughts over for probably about the past 6 months now, and that is investments for preppers. And I know what you're probably thinking, this is a played out subject, or, what could you possibly have to add to what I may have already thought of or anything like that. But I've really been giving it some thought, and I want to lay out a few things that I think would be excellent investments for the would-be prepper. So first of all, what is a prepper? Okay, you hear that term thrown out there, and everybody uses it, and it's all over the internet. But this is my definition of a prepper. Okay, a prepper is somebody that wants to be self-sufficient in the event of a disaster, loss of services, loss of government, breakdown of society, nuclear holocaust, zombie apocalypse, what have you. Any natural or man-made disaster that would leave most normal people screwed is what you want to be ready for. To me, that's a prepper. Someone that wants to be ready for the worst possible scenario that could occur. They want to be able to protect their homes, their families. They want to be able to eat and drink and do what they need to do to survive on a daily basis. And preferably, I think that a prepper is also a person that could stand to make gains off of those situations in the right circumstances. And I'm going to explain that a little more as I go along. So, investments. Okay, well, what are investments? Investments are where you take your money, your goods, your services, whatever you might have for the good of the group, and you turn them into or put them into things that you think are either going to make you more money, benefit you in some way, help someone else, which could down the road, turn out better for you. There's a lot of different forms of investments. I mean, we all hear it all over TV all the time. You hear of investors on Wall Street investing in stocks, bonds, money market funds where they'll put their money in high yield money market accounts, 401ks. Some people invest in bullion. Well, some of us don't have tons of money to set back. So when I was thinking of this concept, I originally tried to kind of plan it towards people that have limited amounts of money. Because let's face it, it's a tough economy, and lots of us don't have just tons of money laying around to throw towards all of these crazy, outlandish ideas. That common man is going to want to put money in places that is going to benefit him directly. I don't believe in putting my money in a place that's just some invisible number in a bank that could overnight just disappear because some guy decides to throw a switch and it's all over. I believe in putting my money in tangible objects I can pack up on my person, carry with me, trade, melt down. You follow me? So that's going to bring us to our first investment. And I made myself a little list here. I'll show you some close-ups as I go along. When you think about investments, one of the first things you think about is bullion. Okay? And bullion is an excellent example of places to put your money that is always going to be economical, collapse-free, and all of that. So one of my examples of a good area to put your money in, is either gold or silver. Okay, and a lot of us don't have money to put in gold. Let's face it, it's expensive. The price is climbing every single day. When it comes to a bullion type scenario, where I put my money is silver dollars. All right. Now I've got some here. I do have a couple of little Liberty dimes and Liberty, silver bullion. But just a good old silver dollar. And this is one of those kind of things that is good trading stock. So in an economical collapse or shit hits the fan type scenario, what have you, silver is one of those things that, if you're out on the trails or you're, whatever is happening and you have to have a resource-based economy, this is something that it's like it's an ounce of silver. This is a tangible object that, it's either an ounce of silver or it isn't. A dollar might lose its value, might fluctuate, or in an economic collapse situation, a dollar is literally not even worth the paper it's printed on. There's nothing to back it up. So, economically speaking, for the would-be prepper, I think that silver bullion is an excellent thing. Silver coin can generally be had from $20 to $30, depending on where you go. This is something that it doesn't weigh a whole heck of a lot, so if you have to take to the streets with a 3-day pack, you know, like I've got this little sack here, you know, a sack of silver dollars and off you go. Now sure, you might have a little wait after you've collected about 50 of them, but this sack of silver dollars, this is a good trading stock. You can flip someone a silver dollar and you might get a case of water or whatever, you know. In a situation where you need good trading stock, to me, silver bullion is an excellent thing to have. You know, it's 1 ounce of silver per coin, and that's just a handy thing to have laying around. All right. Another excellent example of a good investment for preppers are magazines for firearms. And I know it seems like a no-brainer, but when you look at the amount of money that you spend in an average week on just crap, like think about it. Some of you smoke. You guys are spending $35 to $45 for a carton of cigarettes when each week you could be spending 35 or 40 bucks on magazines. This is a much better investment. It doesn't burn up and float away in the air when you smoke it. This is something that you hold on to for the rest of your life. Whatever. So, high capacity magazines, I mean, let's face it, if there's ever a situation where they try to pass another assault weapons ban, or if they try to push through some of this bogus high capacity magazine ban, whatever the case may be, call me paranoid or not, it doesn't matter. You know, 30 round PMags for the AR are an excellent investment. They can be had for, you know, very low prices. They work well. This is great trading stock. Even if you got plenty for your friends, family, yourself, whatever, if you got, you know, 12 or 13 of these extra, you run into somebody that really needs some of these bad enough, and you might be able to stand to gain something decent by trading them off. Con 33 round Glock magazines. These can be had for a reasonably decent price, you know, between $12 and maybe $16 depending on where you get them. They normally come in the wrap, hermetically sealed already. So this is an excellent item to have laying around. I've got a ton of these Korean Glock magazines. They work well, they're robustly made, they're NATO approved. So this is one of those things that, again, another excellent example of trading stock in the form of a magazine. This is a tangible object you carry around with you. You can trade, you can use it. This has multiple uses, unlike some investment in a bank that's just going to disappear if the crap ever does hit the rapidly spinning oscillator. AK mags, another excellent example. This is a Bulgarian surplus polymer magazine, holds 40 rounds. These can be had generally between $18 and $25 depending on where you buy them. Again, excellent investment. I mean, think about the amount of money that you waste every week on eating out, eating lunch. You know, you spend so much money doing that. Start packing your lunches. Don't buy lunch. Save your money for this kind of stuff. This is going to last you a lot longer. It's a great investment. Okay, I'm telling you people, get as much of this kind of stuff as you can. Another excellent investment, 22 Rimfire Ammunition. And it doesn't generally matter what kind you get. Federal bolt pack, Winchester bolt pack, Remington Golden Bullet. This is just regular old Arms Core Precision, you know, cheapo, 22 brick, you know, not expensive. The cheaper the better, whatever you can get the most of. Make it a habit every week. Go to Walmart, buy one Federal 22 bolt pack, wherever you can get them the cheapest, and stock them away in a 40mm ammo can or whatever. It's always good to have about 10 bricks of 22 ammo on hand at all times. I don't generally recommend that people keep enough ammunition extra that they can't carry. Some people get into ammo stocking almost in an obsessive way. You know, they'll have thousands and thousands of rounds of ammunition for a given gun, which that's great if you got a place to store it safely. But the thing is if you have to take off in a hurry, let's say you have to take off, you know, on foot with a 3-day pack, or if you're lucky enough, if you can put it in your vehicle. Let's face it, there's only so much ammunition that you can feasibly carry and use at any one given time. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to have more ammo than you could get away with on your person, because you're just wasting money. So think about that. Weight versus the amount of ammo you have, and what it's worth, what it costs you, and most importantly, what you can trade it for. In a, you know, a shit hits the fan type situation, a brick of 22 ammo is wonderful trading stock. There will never be enough 22 ammo to go around if the world were to just completely go to hell. This is a wonderful thing to have laying around. You can kill game with it. In certain situations, you can defend yourself with it. 22 ammo is a very indispensable thing to have laying around. And when it comes to ammunition, it doesn't have to just be 22 LR ammunition. It can be whatever ammo that you're going to have as your main rifle. So if you got your main rifle, your main pistol, your main survival, 22 rifle, whatever may be the case. It's not a bad idea to have at least enough ammunition to fill up all the magazines that you plan on carrying, and maybe a few extra loose just to top off. But remember, when it comes to carrying ammunition, you can only carry so much. You can't take it all with you. It depends on your plan. Depends on how you plan on storing it, where it's going to be. All of those factors come into play as to how much of this stuff you want to have on hand. But of course, each individual is going to determine that in a different way. So moving on. Another excellent investment. It doesn't matter if you reload or not. Primers. Alright? And I know this seems like a no-brainer, but primers are an excellent investment. Now, this is not the type of investment that you're going to get into lightly, because a standard brick of primers is going to run anywhere from $30 to $40 for 1,000. So that's a little more money than some of you will want to put into it investment-wise. But let's just say that in a disaster situation, or let's just say in a situation where the government tries to ban ammunition or make ammunition expensive or tax it to where it's some crazy tax, then hand loaders are going to take up a completely new place in society as being people to go to where you can get ammo probably cheaper than you can buy it. But anyway, a hand loader that has a whole bunch of hand loading equipment like you see behind me and plenty of powder, but they're missing primers, this might be an opportunity for you to get into a really good trade. If you've got some primers to put into their cause, they might be willing to trade you a gun or something decent for 1,000 primers. I mean, let's face it, 1,000 primers essentially equals 1,000 rounds of ammunition. Now granted, you need the components to complete all of that, but you cannot deny that it's a good idea to have plenty of primers laying around. I generally keep 10,000 on hand for each size that I need. Small pistol, large pistol, small rifle, large rifle, what have you. It's a good idea to have about 10,000 of each type. Gunpowder is one of those things that you could invest in if you wanted to. I would say generally across the board that that's going to be more than most of you want to mess with. If you are a hand loader, then any form of hand loading components is going to be a great investment. Powder, primers, projectiles, that's generally going to put you in the right direction. Save all your brass, keep your dies in good shape, you're generally okay there. So I wanted to hit on the reloading aspect of it because more and more people these days are getting into hand loading, reloading, just because of the standpoint that they're saving more money, they're shooting more for their given budget that they have to spend anyway, and most importantly, you're becoming more self-sufficient from the system. You don't have to buy ammunition if you can make it. Obviously, bullet casting equipment, if you want to cast your own projectiles, those are all excellent ways to save money and be self-sufficient. Remember, the whole thing about being a prepper, about investing in prepping, is being self-sufficient from the system. So, we hit on those few things. Another wonderful investment. Let's face it, some people can't afford to buy tons of guns. Okay? I mean, I realize that. But if you can afford extra guns that are easy enough to stow away, I mean, like this Glock 26. This is a wonderful gun. This is a great means to defend yourself, defend your family, your neighbors, whatever. But let's face it, if you had 5 or 6 Glock 26s, then that's something that you could have your brand new one stowed away for, a rainy day, for a disaster situation, and then your ratty old range beater, if something came about where you could get in a really nice trade, this is good trading stock. And let's face it, someone that's unprepared and they don't have a gun, this might as well be a brick of gold at that point. You start stripping off, the guy's wife's gold earrings and gold bracelets and whatever they got laying around, you might come across about $5 grand worth of gold just for one handgun. That's money well spent. That's 1,000% return on your investment. So think about it. Extra guns, I mean, what's a standard Glock weigh? Not a whole lot, right? So that's a really nice thing to have laying around, a couple of extra handguns. Alright, so we talked about silver and gold bullion, we talked about high cap mags, and it doesn't necessarily have to be high cap mags, it can be any mag, but I would say, considering the political stratum and the way it tends to go with the gun industry, I would say high cap mags would be a better thing to put your money in. We talked about firearms, we talked about 22 LR ammunition and other types of ammunition for stockpiling. A few other quick ideas in terms of investments that you can make as a would-be prepper. Batteries, okay? In a situation where there's a loss of power, what have you, electronic devices will need some source of power, and batteries, let's face it, are the most simple way to do that. You can't go wrong investing in some good quality batteries to stock up on. You know, common sizes, you know the drill, I don't have to tell you. But batteries are excellent for lamps, lights, Surefire batteries, excellent thing to have. You always need a Surefire light. And especially in a situation where there's no power, a Surefire is going to be an indispensably handy tool to have laying around. You may invest in extra Surefire flashlights, even if they're just the cheap G2s. Just something. It's good trading stock and it's good to have backups. Extra lamps for your Surefires, excellent investment. Again, fire making equipment. Okay, you know, there's a lot of ways out there to build fire. I mean, there's primitive fire building techniques that you can use, and all of those things come into play. There's commercial fire building kits that you can get, like the little matches that come in the little tube with the little strike face on them. That's an excellent way to have trading stock. You can get those little tubes with the waterproof matches for like $3. And that's one of those things that you can, you know, what's it going to hurt to buy 2 or 3 of those a week? Are you going to really miss $10? But if you have, you know, a whole sack full of those things, that's excellent trading stock. Let's say someone's on the fence about a deal, and you have to sweeten the deal a little bit. We'll throw in a few little fire making kits, and that's a great way to close the deal. Now remember, you know, in a disaster situation, a resource-based economy is basically going to be where we're at. Money won't be any good anymore to most people. So fire making equipment, excellent example. Now, these few examples I have here are kind of taken a little far, because what this comes down to, like solar energy, alternative power sources, that sort of thing. If you have the financial ability to invest in those sort of resources, you'll be very well off. I mean, imagine being completely independent of the grid. You have your own solar panels, your own battery backup supplies. You can live pretty much a modern life. Of course, you won't have internet access or anything like that, but you could live pretty much a modern style life in a disaster situation if you had the ability to invest in solar panels and that type of stuff. And in this current situation, solar panels are an excellent option too, because a lot of cases the grid will actually pay you back for the unused energy from the grid that you don't use. Your energy gets put back into the grid, and they'll send you a check to subsidize for that energy they use from your production. So that's an excellent way to help pay for it if you decide you want to put that kind of money into it. Another good option to consider are alternative water sources and purification. Now, some of you are lucky enough to live in an area that has a natural spring nearby. That's an excellent way to build your own fountain, that you can have your own purification set up to have your own water source. If you've got an ability to do that, I would suggest capitalizing on it, because a good, clean, renewable, easy to get to water source is an excellent thing, especially straight from a spring. That's something that you could even sell bundles of water to people. You could sell bottles of water to people, and that's excellent trading stock to have the ability to have fresh water directly from a spring source. Water purification. You have easy ways to purify water. You can boil it. They have water purification tabs. Various ways that you can purify your water, and that's something to consider investing in, are ways to be self-sufficient. And that's what it comes down to. I mean, you're investing in your future, and you know, to really, with the way that things are going, I really think that these investments will really be one of the things that we're all going to look forward to putting our efforts towards in the future. It's going to go away from the electronic type things, and it's going to go back to the resource-based economy end of it. And that's what we're seeing in today's society. So I appreciate you guys watching. I hope you like my videos. I know some of the philosophy ones are a little bit drawn out, but I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll watch some more. Have a good one.